What is going on? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I seriously appreciate you tuning in today. We're back here in my 2007 Nissan 350z HR, and as you saw from the title of today's video, I'm going to be talking about what it takes to find a good 350z, honestly. And I get this question so many times in my comment section. People asking, like, what are the best websites to look for Nissan 350zs and or 370zs or G35s or, you know. So today we're going to be discussing the three main websites that I use, or the ones that I bounce back and forth between to look for 350zs and or 350z parts. It just seems like as time goes on, it's harder and harder to find good 350zs. I see comments also about people that buy them and they get stuck with cars that aren't the best. So we're going to talk about today how to not get stuck with a car that's just going to be a money pit. I've had plenty of experiences going to look at cars, and honestly, I've bought cars I shouldn't have, and I've learned so much just about the used car market and what to believe and what not to believe. So we're going to talk about a few different points that I think are super important. Keep these in mind while you're going to look at a car, especially when you're excited about getting it. It's so easy to make a purchase without, like, you know, thinking of all the possibilities, everything that can go wrong. And I also believe it's really easy to talk yourself into things, especially once those emotions get going and you see the car for the first time after you've been looking online. It's really hard to not just hand the money over, take the keys and leave with it. And I promise you, it's definitely worth doing a little bit more research, having a little bit more patience, waiting for the car that you want. So anyways, let's talk about the three websites that I use. The first one is going to be Facebook Marketplace, and I highly recommend Facebook Marketplace because a lot of the sellers on Facebook Marketplace are going to be people that have Facebook accounts, all their family members are following them, and they're going to be real people. I know a lot of websites where you can make an account and list your car for sale pretty quickly. It can be kind of sketchy because you could have anyone trying to sell it. They could be just trying to make a quick buck. Like, there's so many possibilities. So Facebook Marketplace is one of my favorite places to look. And one thing I've noticed, I feel like Facebook, not to stereotype or anything, but I feel like Facebook is a little bit older of a crowd. So I feel like your chances of finding like a fairly low mile, you know, garage kept example of a 350z is going to be a little bit higher on Facebook than, say, you know, eBay or something like that. And that actually leads me to the second page that I use, and it's actually Craigslist. Do people even use Craigslist anymore? I see that question a lot, and I think they do. I'm not gonna lie, I see 350zs posted on Craigslist all the time. And so many of these new apps out there where you can list cars and things for sale, it's cool to know that people are still listing things on Craigslist, and I feel like it's been around for quite a long time. So I actually found both my red 350z and my Mazda Miata on Craigslist, and I got a pretty good deal on both those cars. The Miata I picked up for 2,000 bucks, which is honestly like the deal of the century back then. That was like 5 years ago now, so they've definitely gone up in value a little bit, but I would say even back then, that car was probably worth at least $3,500. It had 92,000 miles on it, and all original, which was just super rare and hard to find. I definitely feel like I lucked out with that car. And then my red 350z, it was one of those situations where I was convincing myself that, like, oh, I can do the body work, like I can fix it. And luckily there was no mechanical issues. The car runs flawlessly, but you know how. But we've had to paint the entire car since then. They're basically all the body panels were different shades of red, which is kind of funny. And you always wonder what the story is for some of these cars. And then lastly, my third option that I always check, and even though it's a little more sketchy of the options, just because anyone can make an account, anyone can post their car, it doesn't take long at all, just minutes, honestly. And that's OfferUp. I say OfferUp just because it's so used. There's so many people on there. So if you want to look at a lot of 350zs, a lot of the 350zs on OfferUp aren't in the best condition, and some of them are pretty overpriced for even what they are. But I will admit, if you want to find the most 350zs for sale in one spot, I would definitely say OfferUp is going to be the spot to go. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you have checked OfferUp for 350zs. So all the other websites like Car Gurus, Cars.com, Bring a Trailer, all those different types of websites, they all do the same thing. They're all listing cars for sale. I feel like they're all dealerships, and you're going to pay absolute top dollar for those cars. But because they're dealerships, they're probably going to be in the best quality. So I always like to scroll through them really quick. Like, I probably won't ever spend, you know, 17,000 on a 350z with 40K miles on it. But if you're not looking to go through the hassle of like finding a good car on OfferUp or dealing with scammers or people that are just shady in general, car dealerships, although can be shady, are usually better than places like OfferUp. So what is this? What is this? You guys, they cut all these trees down. If you know me, you know I love trees. They take so long to grow, and they just cut down, like, not even joking, like 15 50-year-old trees, and that just makes me so mad. Let me know down below what websites you use. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of different ones out there, and those are just the 3. You could probably call me a creature of habit. I basically just flip between those 3 pages. Jeez. Okay, so the very last thing I want to talk about is something that I just do not see talked about enough, and it's one of the most important things to remember if you're going to be getting a 350Z that's going to be worthwhile in the end. There are so many cars out there going for 5, 6, 7 grand that have, you know, around 200,000 miles on them, and it can be very tempting to go and just buy one of those. It's really just hard to know what you're gonna get. So if I can recommend one thing that will change everything for you, it's just be as patient as you can. Like, I've been there. You know, you see a car, it seems like a good deal. There's just not many others listed, so you feel like you have to go and buy it. And honestly, your money will always be worth what it is. Definitely go and check it out, but if they do not have like a folder of receipts or just any sort of documentation whatsoever, I mean, it's scary, you guys. Like, it can be scary. I've kept every single receipt for any maintenance I've ever done on any of my cars, like the Miata, both 350Zs. When I go to sell my cars, that folder is going with the car. Like, that folder belongs to the car. It's not my folder, that's the car's folder. And it has all the information in there for the future owner to know what has been done to the car, because when you buy a car, there are so many parts. There's literally thousands of parts on these things. And as these cars approach 20 years old, things get brittle and things start breaking. So it is amazing to know what has been replaced, like the thermostat or anything like that. So just be as patient as you possibly can. I know it's hard, I know, but it will be worth it in the end, I promise you. I'm gonna keep making these YouTube videos. Hopefully that'll help. Just be as patient as you possibly can. I promise it'll all be worth it in the end. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in today. I know it's kind of a short video, but I just had to cruise around, tell you guys the different websites I use to look for 350Zs. It's not really a trick, but I guess you could call it my trick for finding 350Zs that are fairly good condition. My Zs are nowhere near perfect, but they run well, and that's all I can really ask for. So anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button down below if you have not yet already. Join the family. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more videos like this where I talk about just information on the 350Z, where I find 350Zs, or just anything 350Z related. Hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.
Mm-hmm.